Bienvenue pour l'interview de Solo, Star Wars
for
Story,
the interview for Solo, a Star Wars story. We are here with Ron Howard, a legend of cinema who is back here. It's a real pleasure to welcome you back. Thank you for being here to talk about Solo, a Star Wars story, with your cast, Alden, Ehrenreich, Emilia, Clarke, Donald Glover, who is here, and Woody Harrelson, we know well in Cannes. Thank you to all of you for being here. You have been to Cannes before. You have a wonderful career, Ron Howard, but is there something really special about directing an episode in Star Wars? Is this a legend that goes well beyond cinema itself?
Well, it's truly remarkable, and of course it means a lot to American audiences, but it's grown so that it really speaks to the entire planet, which is why it's important to be at Cannes, because this is a place to a platform to let people know we made a movie we really care about. Creatively, I found it fascinating because I've always been a fan of the Star Wars movies. I know George Lucas well. I've been sort of behind the curtain, but I didn't really fully appreciate the way these movies entertain us. And now I realize why we see them over and over again. And it's because there's a particular kind of density of entertainment values that are really unique. It's the humor, it's the action, it's the heart, it's the ideas, it's the world that's created, and every scene has to address all of these things. So I didn't realize really the degree of difficulty or the complexity of actually making these movies, because the point is, it's fun. It's an easy movie. They're easy movies to see, but so it was an interesting creative experience for me to work on.
Comment on se prépare justement, Ron
How
Howard?
do you prepare for this? Is there a specific preparation to direct an episode of Star Wars?
Well, in this case, I came into a movie that was already in production, and there were creative differences. And unfortunately, Chris and Phil, the original directors, they departed. And so, in this particular instance, I didn't get to do my normal preparation. I had to take a kind of a creative leap and a kind of a life challenge. And I'm really glad I did, but it forced me to rely more on instinct than probably any movie that I've ever done. And in some ways, that was liberating. Also, there was a lot of great work that had been done before I even came on board, and I was able to benefit from that as well as build on that.
Alden, comment on réagit quand on
Alden, how
vous
do
dit, ça y est,
you
c'est vous
react
qui allez
when
être
you're
Han
told
Solo?
you are going to
D'abord,
be
on est,
Han Solo?
j'imagine, heureux, et puis ensuite, il y
I
a une forme
imagine
de
you're
pression
happy,
parce
and then there
que
must be a lot of
remplacer
pressure
Harrison Ford.
replacing Harrison Ford.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it was such a thrill. I was so excited. It was beyond what I could have even imagined. And you know that when you're signing on for something like this, you're not just signing on to play a part. You're signing on for kind of a whole a life adventure. And as far as pressure, there is more pressure on this, but it's not different than the kind of pressure you face on any movie, which is to do a good job, basically. I mean, that's really your whole focus. So just kind of the same way you navigate that and focus on the job you have at hand is the only way to go.
Vous avez rencontré Harrison Ford?
Did you meet Harrison Ford?
Oh, yeah, I had lunch with him.
Oui.
And he was great. He was super supportive and he didn't know that much about the movie, but he was like, it seems like it'll be great. And then he's since seen the film and loves it. And that was so special to have his stamp of approval on the movie, I think, for me and all of us. Yeah.
In fact, I don't know if you saw it, but he surprised Alden in an interview. He had spoken to me and told me how much he liked it, but we had said, Kathy Kennedy and myself had just said, well, we can't tell anybody else that, Harrison. No one speaks for Harrison Ford but Harrison Ford. So he showed up and surprised Alden, which was pretty great.
Not only having him really love the movie, but also the fact that he would take his time out to come to Pasadena, where we were, and do that, it was really, really meant a lot.
Emilia Clarke, que représente pour vous
Emilia
cet univers de
Clarke,
Star Wars dans lequel vous pénétrez?
how do you feel about this world of Star Wars?
Est-ce que c'est un peu
Are
les mêmes mondes? Est-ce qu'il y a un rapport à faire,
is something
ou pas?
comparable with Game of Thrones? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I've been very lucky in that I've been doing some rather big projects of late. But where Game of Thrones has a lot of green and a lot of dragons, Star Wars has the real creatures that are really the animatronics. They are unbelievably realistic to work with, and the scale is just even bigger than my wildest imagination. So it's I feel incredibly lucky to be able to have the both experiences.
Ah oui, j'imagine Donald Glover.
I
Vous
can
êtes aussi
imagine
auteur, vous êtes
Donald
aussi
Glover,
scénariste. Quand on est
you
acteur
are
dans
a
une
screenwriter,
saga
a
comme Star Wars,
writer.
est-ce qu'on a le droit de toucher une
When
ligne?
you're an
Est-ce qu'on
actor
a le
in a
droit d'apporter,
film like
de
Star Wars, can
personnaliser,
you
des
personalize the
dialogues?
dialogue?
Quel rapport on a
Can you
justement
bring
avec le
any
script qu'on
changes?
reçoit?
What is the relationship with the script you receive?
It's really hard to improv in Star Wars because there's a lot of things that don't exist in the universe that exist on Earth.
Oui.
So, you know, we might say banana in an improv, and somebody will come and say, there's no bananas on this planet. And so you change it. But other than that, we were allowed, after we shot, you know, after we got the script down, which was really great, you know, the Kasdans did an amazing job. We'd play around, you know, whatever felt good. Like I feel like, you know, Ron really gave us the confidence and the space to create magic if we felt it, which was really, really cool. So yeah, I feel like as a writer, it was very cool to see that, but as an actor, it was very freeing.
Woody Harrelson.
And Woody
Vous voir
Harrelson.
dans Star Wars, ça me passionne
Seeing
déjà
you
d'avance.
in
Qu'est-ce
Star
que
Wars
représente
is
pour vous,
really
Star
exciting.
Wars,
What
Woody Harrelson?
does Star
Toute
Wars
cette saga
mean for
et
you,
le fait d'y
this saga,
participer.
and the fact of being part of it now?
Well, I know you guys.
With the
might
mic,
be
please.
surprised. Oh, yeah, right, of course. I know you guys might be surprised about this, but I was alive in 1977.
Exactement.
Yeah,
Exactement.
I was actually born before that. And so it was a thrilling thing when it came out in 77. It was what everyone was talking about. So all these years later, and to have such a global impact as Star Wars has had, I think this is the pinnacle of my career. I can honestly say, pretty much after this, it's just downhill slope. But I gotta say, you know, we're already we recognize how super lucky we are just to be doing this profession. But I feel like we're really breathing some rarefied air to be, you know, in Star Wars, and very psyched about it.
If I could just say one thing, you know, in this particular movie, which is not a war story, it's, you know, it's really the story of one character and a journey of discovery, quest for freedom, but it's also a story of the relationships that are going to help shape this young hero into the iconic figure that we know later. And for that reason, the character relationships, which all differ in their tone, are so interesting because and they're different. And whether it's humorous or dangerous or romantic, and the performances, I think, for that reason, are kind of unlike other performances that you've seen in movies. They're very organic, very real. There's a lot of humanism in it, and this cast could really bring that to life in a way that is still Star Wars. It's got all the action, it's got all the fun, but I feel like there's an emotional connection to all the characters that's you know, a little bit different, and as a director, I'm proud of that.
Ah ben, je comprends ça, Ron Howard. Ça me rend encore plus
understand that. It makes me even more excited about discovering the film tonight, like millions of people all over the world who are waiting to see your work, the work of all of you, and you must have been a joy for you. Thank you so much to all of you.
Emilia Clarke, merci Donald Glover et Woody Harrelson. Je vous souhaite à tous un bon festival.
And I wish all of you a wonderful evening and a wonderful festival with Solo, a Star Wars.